Hey, so I think this is going to be my first video. Um, I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Pablo. Well, I'm just going to go by my name because I don't think there's any point in having an alias or something. Um, but I kind of started this initially as like a web diary. And so I have probably 6, 7 different entries. No, I'm just playing. I think I do have like 6 or 7 different entries where I just talk about various stuff. Um, Quick introduction for me. I am a soon to be 21-year-old. Um, I live by myself. I dropped out of college. I'm pursuing other things. I'm in trade school instead. Um, and I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. But it took a lot to get to this point. I went through a pretty rough breakup, I think 6 months ago. Um, and I think I'm finally on the back end of it. So I wanna do this moreover to give advice to people who are in that kind of situation. Um, my relationship was 4 years long, so I'm 20. You can only imagine I mean, that's some of the most crucial times in a person's life that I spent with someone else, and it's over now. Um, and you might be facing a similar situation. And I guess I just want to go through some of the strategies, do's and don'ts, and go back on some of the things that I said in um, some of my past entries. So, um, something I mentioned in one of them, because I was actually friends with my ex for I think about a month there. A month after the breakup, that month after that, so there's 2 months right whenever the breakup happened. That second month is when we were friends. And what I'll tell you is what I said in my entries was that you shouldn't care what other people think. It's important that whatever works for your kind of healing process, that's what you should go with. And I just gotta say, man, I was wrong. I could not have been more wrong. I know people are gonna hate hearing that, but by no means should you continue to talk to someone after you've broken off a connection like that. Because even though I don't say, I guess it depends on how it ended, but for me, it was definitely one of those I needed to completely cut contact, and I struggled to do that. And I went out pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie. So finally cutting contact on my own was what really sparked that change for me eventually. Um, it's been, I think, 3 months. No, it's been 2 months no contact, and I guess when I say that, no contact at all, as in I completely cut them off, and it could not have been. It was probably the best decision I've made for myself throughout this whole thing. Um, and it took a lot from me, especially for those first couple of weeks. It was rough. It was rough for sure. But I have to continue to remind myself there's really nothing else I could do for this person, and I was no longer entitled to this person, but it's equally important to remember that they are no longer entitled to you. And something that a lot of people kind of touch on is like improving in spite of, or or improving to spite someone. And I think that is an amazing way to recover. Um, to say um, that if that person, especially if you were with them for as long as I was with this person, they do know the ins and outs of you for the most part. For the most part. And one thing to remember is that last couple weeks before you break up, I'm gonna be honest, you can basically disregard any criticism you may have gotten. from it. I mean, people are emotional creatures. I'm sure you yourself said something that you know really wasn't true about your partner after the breakup. But if you know that there were things that you had to work on and maybe you failed, and that's what ended up kind of tearing down that relationship, you know you failed in that aspect, then I mean that's something you need to work on. And for me, I kind of go back through the checklist of the things that I might have in the ways I might have failed my partner, and I push myself not to improve those specifically, but to improve myself in a way where maybe the next person won't have to complain about that. And and again, to reiterate that point specifically, none of it is for the person you broke up with or that broke up with you. Um, Whenever you do improve, it's not in hopes that they take you back one day. It can't be that reason. It has to be in hopes that the next person you're with has an easier time with you. I guess you could say, because ultimately, if you're better, if you are in a better place, if you're in a good place, then you can expect that from your partner. And I say that everyone has their ups and downs, but you can raise that standard up a little bit. If I'm if I'm an employed young man and I I don't know, I drive to work and then I come back and I do chores and I handle my own business, whatever. I'm not gonna respectfully. I know there's a lot of people like this now. Respectfully, I'm not going to see someone who doesn't have a license to drive. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that. I'm also probably not gonna be with someone who's unemployed. Again, I know how the market is right now, but when you're in a certain position, you can start to demand a little bit more from the people you interact with because again, no one is entitled to you or your attention. And um, whenever you begin to hone in on what is this what is some of this that I'm looking for, what is some of this that I want from a partner, then you I mean ultimately down the road you'll find someone who meets those standards, and from there the test is on you. I mean that's what the dating pool is, right? It's just figuring out whether or not you're compatible with someone, but whether or not you work with them is entirely dependent on whether or not you work with them. You know, nothing comes easy. I think we all know that. Um, Relationships are difficult and they're a hard thing to maneuver around. I know myself, I struggled with a lot of different issues that I'll go through in their time. But for now, I wanted to start with something light like this of if you're a young person, I think that any of this advice kind of applies to you. Um, don't let someone take advantage of you. I think when you're regardless of what position you're in, if you're the broken up with or um, you're the breaker upper, um, it might be easy to find yourself empathizing with the other person and feeling like, man, I was with them for so long and I still care about them. Maybe I should help them out. Maybe I should do this for them. I know I'm better than this and I don't owe it to them, but I still love that person. Don't let them take advantage of you. If you know they wouldn't do the same thing for you, then I don't see why you would ever put yourself through that of allowing someone like that to take advantage of you. That's not to say they're a bad person, just that whenever we are in, as people, whenever we are in vulnerable positions, um, we tend to claw and grab at whatever we can. And it can be easy to see them clawing and pawing at you and say, let me offer a helping hand. And the helping hand ends up a lot of the time pulling yourself down. And you don't want to be in that clawing, pawing position. Because if I'm being completely honest, that's the position I was in. And until I crawled myself out, I couldn't. When you're there next to them, you don't see them clawing and pawing. You think they're doing fine because they're in the same position as you, or because you're in the same level as them. But once you pull yourself out of that. It's really sad. It's really sad, but it's also really eye opening. Recognizing that, damn, I was doing that. I was clawing and pawing. I was trying my best to take hold of something. Cause I mean, we lost something. We lost something. You and your ex partner, you and that friend that you no longer talk to, you both lost something. Regardless of what they say to you, what they say about you, you both lost something. Um, I'm realizing I'm doing a lot of yapping, but I don't know. I have in my head what I want to talk about in these videos, and I kind of hone in a little bit. Um, I talk about a couple different things, but if there's anything you guys want to hear me um, reiterate or talk more about, or have specific questions for me, I'm not going to delve too much in my personal life, but if you wanted to share some of yours, I'll definitely speak on it. No, but yeah, I just I wish I had seen more 20-year-olds who didn't have it all figured out whenever I was going through the self help stuff. Because, I mean, there's a lot, and there's a lot of really great ones. Like, I love The Zerky Show. Great guy. Love that dude's videos. Amazing. And I think a lot of that self help stuff is great. It's really important to avoid the red pill because it's not good for you. Luckily, I didn't do that. Um, I knew better. um, but just I want to be that creator that hopefully you can be open with, because I know what it's like. And I know every bit of person says that, but I mean I'm in it right now. I'm in it right now, and we're still working on things. So uh, y'all take care of yourselves, and I appreciate you listening to this first entry. Um, this is gonna get thrown up on some channel. Don't know the name of it yet, or um, how often I'm gonna upload, but I appreciate you listening, and I hope you have a great rest of whatever period of time is left in your day slash night, or whatever time cycle you're operating on, and take care of yourself. Eat something, drink something if you can at the moment, and take care. Love you guys. Let me know what you want to hear about next.